The one thing we constantly talked about was that we wanted everyone to have pride in the badge. Pride in the badge is what it was all about. Pride in the badge in terms of, wanting to work and fight and go the extra mile for the business.
In my head, I thought, well, I'm not from recruitment, so I can do this job. So I don't need someone from another recruitment business to come and do this job. So my understanding was, if I find people who can understand our customers and who we're talking to and the candidates and relate to that and have empathy, then we're going to have a better chance of being a success.
Welcome to another podcast with me, your host here, Gary Goldsmith, at the Cavendish on New Cavendish Street, my local, with these two. Now, when I say I've got mates in recruitment and eclectic and randoms, I end up going on holiday with these two oh, look at your faces. You actually look like rabbits in the fucking light. I'm going to take you bastards down today. These are two of my best mates on the planet, and we all met through RDLC Pirates. How random is that? I love the fact that you actually just phoned each other going, what, black t-shirt? Not off. Because I've got one. I've got one too.
I got the memo.
This is season 4, and we are talking about all things recruitment. I think you guys have got brilliant stories. So first of all, can I welcome Wayne Brophy, Ian Simpkins to Pints of View.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for the invite.
By the time this comes out, I would have been in Big Brother and I would have dropped you two like you're fucking hot. so you're lucky to get this.
We know you're right as well. You will.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Sorry, I've been in place in the sun.
Oh yeah. Should we talk about that? Well, Gus, what do you think, mate? Walking around with your very tall mate, because he's very short. And did you buy anything?
No.
Did you have an offer on a house and then chose not to buy it because it was a little bit illegal?
What, in Ibiza?
Yeah.
We did.
Every house is illegal in Ibiza. It's just literally. But anyway, I own a house in Ibiza, so winning. Thank you very much for making the effort to come all the way down from Manchester. It's lovely the fact that you actually live around the corner from each other these days and you actually joined at the hip. There are rabbits and cats in the world trying to be separated because you are so close. Let me just make a little intro. I haven't done a poem because it was too hard to do one for two people, so I just gave up. So Wayne Brophy, the owner of Cast Group. Now he will say
UK.
It's not, that isn't the company name, but as someone who's worked with him for many years, you just got the wrong name, sweetheart.
It reminds me when you won that award and you called it Cast International.
And eventually you did go...
Well, yeah.
Eventually you caught up. I did do that wrong as well. That was shocking. And Ian, who hasn't got a job, can't keep a job, pointless. The former owner of Sylvan, who is now a wandering minstrel. What's your business? Jack and Danny or something?
Yes.
What's it called?
Similar. Jamax Consulting.
Exactly.
It's just my kids' names. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Jack and Danny Recruitment. If you want a non-exec who isn't quite as good as me. So these are both brilliant mates of mine who have come into recruitment in totally different ways. Wayne, just your backstory in Aldi, where we're going to call it today, is brilliant. So we will come to that. But you basically started a recruitment company up with 10 minutes of recruitment experience.
5 months. Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. And you, sir, were 14 years in recruitment before you set up. So you were a burnout.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Effectively.
Knackered.
But you boy done good. So it'd be nice to talk about those journeys and how you got to where you are and how your thought process, values, what means the most to you in terms of your business. So we will have some sensible talk, but I think of all of the conversations I've had with everybody and anybody I've worked with on my podcast, this could deteriorate the fastest.
I think that's guaranteed.
So we're going to strap in. So two entrepreneurs with a close approaching 1 billion years of business ownership and leadership. Both pedigree, top of your game, and you bring something really clever to the sector. You bring something beautiful to the Pirates as well. You're very generous and giving, and you're really top blokes. Great skier.
Yeah.
But box to box.
The box
to box.
Yeah.
And were you player of MVP this week?
I did get man of the match. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but yeah, I got man of the match on Sunday.
I've got to say,
in my best team,
the bloke on the wing is actually in a wheelchair. So
it's walking football.
It's a low bar. Also, the fact that you work in kind of similar marketplaces, so you could be called direct competitors, logistics and foodie stuff. You were there, but you never hesitated to help each other. So massive testament to both yourself and the whole sort of concept of pirate. So I will lean into that. But without my Scylla magic, you would never have never met. So that's brilliant. But I would like to start. So there's loads of things we can talk about in terms of backstories. Oh my God, I might have just drunk a bit of cider too quick.
Oh God,
it's coming.
It's already started.
It's already coming. Caught well to entrepreneur. Reason why you focus on the sectors that you did. Why it's easier in tech, but you never did. So you're going to have to explain that one today. And we're going to put a full stop behind that because you can't say it ever again. Where is the world today? What's next for the pair of you? Challenges. Best advice you would get to somebody starting up in recruitment. And best advice you get to someone who's running a recruitment company, because it's very easy to leave too early. So I'd love to talk about that. And then we play some fun games.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Sounds good.
You up for that?
Let's do this.
Right. So if you don't mind, Ian.
Yep, let's go.
I want your backstory because it was brilliant about Aldi.
Okay, so Aldi is not where I started. So I started...
okay, we'll cut that.
I'll get to it. Yeah, so look, I typical graduate, finished university, milked around different employers around the university. And I joined a company called Excel. You might know them as DHL now today. I joined them on a graduate scheme, doing different things. And I did that for about a year and a half and quite liked it. It was a good job. It was a brilliant job, actually.
What were you doing for them?
I was looking in logistics, basically, in operations. I get to move around. So I work with Woolworths, if you remember Woolworths. Yeah, I worked with them.
Pick and mix.
Yeah, pick and mix, yeah. No one ever paid for it, just nicked it.
Yeah.
I worked with them, I worked with Sainsbury's for a bit, just like different accounts. Selfridges were one of the accounts I worked on. So just basically working in warehouses, moving boxes around is what we're doing, basically. So I did that for 18 months, and then
was that a management scheme or something?
Yeah, graduate scheme. Yeah, just graduate scheme. So, and it was good. There were loads of graduates who joined at the time. Clearly, I was the best graduate who joined at the time, and moved through the business a bit quicker than the others. But no, look, it was brilliant. Box to box, absolutely, yeah. But it was unbelievable training. It was just a great business, a big company. Loads going on, loads of opportunities, and for me it was perfect. I had a clue what I wanted to do. I did a business studies degree. I had no clue what I wanted to do. So go and join a graduate scheme was ace. However, my best mate I went to uni with, got a job at Aldi. Right, so he phoned me up and he says, "Look, I've got this job at Aldi. They're looking for other people. Are you interested in joining?" And I'm like, "I've never even heard of Aldi. Like, who are they? What are they? What do they do?" I thought it was the German car company, right? He's like, "Well, it's this retail in the UK," and I'm like, "Well, not really, no." And he said, "Well, they're paying like double your salary and they're giving you an Audi A4 car." And I'm like, "I'm in. Get me an interview."
You got an Aldi A4.
Aldi A4, yeah.
Just changed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's loads going on with these Audis and Aldis, but anyway, so I went and met him, and I joined the company, and I got offered a job, and it was great. But that for me was it changed everything, because the company in terms of Aldi is absolutely superb in terms of the way they manage people, the leadership style, the way they run the business, the efficiency. It's just a class business. And so when I joined, I mean, it's ruthless. It's brutal as well.
Brilliant.
So yeah, exactly. I mean, looking back on it, I loved it, but it's certainly not everyone's cup of tea. And I was one of 18 area managers who joined. There was only 9 areas, and every area had a manager in it. So I thought, I'm never going to get a job here. I think within 6-8 weeks, I think 4 of them been sacked. And
you'd have done well there, because if they got hairier managers, that would have been absolutely perfect. I have no idea what he's talking about, but apparently it's hairier managers.
I got promoted immediately.
Yeah, you'll be number 1. Yeah,
Chewy.
You totally killed my story now. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So so I did that for a while, and then I left, went back to Excel, and then I was there for a bit, and then living in London, I wanted to move back to Manchester, and I did. And
but why recruitment?
Right, so I often got into recruitment. It's a funny one, right? So we're
judge. I know. You've got an hour of this.
Yeah. It's going to be brutal, this. So again, right, I went back to Excel. I was the youngest general manager in the whole of Europe at the time, 25.
For those who aren't watching this, he pointed at me.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
no reason at all.
Yeah, just so you know, added impact. Look, I met my now wife, Kerry, who you well know, and I wanted to move back to Manchester, and I went on a stag do. And when I was on a stag do, one of the lads that were there worked for Michael Page, and I was telling him I was looking for a new job. He's like, well, why do you come and work in recruitment? You know, working in Manchester, looking to hire. And I ended up coming back from the stag do when I met his boss, and I met his boss's boss, and next thing you know, I had the job offer on the table from a recruitment company.
Which is kind of weird, right? Because you actually weren't doing sales. You were managing...
I was working operations, Yeah, so completely random. I was earning pretty decent money. I took a 50% pay cut as well to go and join Michael Page. And while I was doing all that, I was also getting married. We're trying to sell an apartment in London to move to Manchester and all that sort of stuff. Come back from a honeymoon and then join Michael Page. And
sounds like you're having a bit of a breakdown, actually.
I think I was, yeah. There was just so much going on. And looking back on it, right, it's the best ever move and the worst. Because both me and my wife moved to Manchester. My wife hated it, absolutely hated it. Wanted to be back in London, hated Manchester. We had a great life in London. We swapped all that to move back to Manchester. It was crap. It was raining. It was cold. It was just shit. And we both took shit jobs.
Oh, you're selling the dream,
I know, yeah. And look, Michael Page, you know, they're a great business.
It's not a recruitment business.
I don't know. Look,
do you know it's not though? Is it? It's like share comms and then people just work.
I didn't know. I had no clue.
Yeah.
But what I did know was I was looking after about 100 people in Excel. I had a really good senior job. I was doing really well. I was a blue-eyed boy. I was accelerating through the business.
How old were you at that age when you just did a career swap?
I think about 26. So about 26. My career I was definitely on a trajectory to do really well in the company. And then I went and joined Michael Page in Manchester and took a 50% pay cut, lost my final salary, pension and everything.
I want to stop you there because the next part of this is going to be really funny, but I want to hear from Ian. So how you started a recruitment company up when you're burnt out, haggard, tired. Well, how did you get into recruitment, brother?
So how did I get into recruitment? Well, completely different to Wayne. I graduated from one of the top 3 universities, Bradford, and I was just after Harvard and Cambridge.
Harvard, Stanford, Bradford, is that what it is?
and it was Euro 96 had just finished, actually. I'd spent the summer, I graduated in 96, spent the summer watching the Euros. Yeah, well, I thought so, yeah. And I needed a job. I was absolutely skint. I was up to my eyeballs in debt. And I used to get the Yorkshire Post and the, the Milk Round jobs. Yeah. And there was graduate, trainee, recruitment or sales roles for companies I've never heard of, and I thought, well, I'll give that a go. I'm skint. It says you can earn unlimited commission or whatever. And so my girlfriend at the time actually posted my CV to a load of these recruitment company roles, and I got interviews with
in the same manner or miles away.
Yeah, miles away. Yeah. Just posted, but it was just random. I just needed. I was absolutely skint. Money had run out, and I needed a job effectively, and there was no thought to it. There's no internet. There was nothing going on in '96 when we think back then. No mobile phones really, and I got 3 interviews from ATA Selection, Ellis Fairbank, who were in Leeds, and Crossley House, and they're all 2 in Leeds, 1 in Halifax, and I was in Bradford, and I got to final stage with ATA and Ellis Fairbank, but I didn't like them at all. One of them asked me, when was the last time you had a fight, and I was like, sorry, literally said, and I was like, what's that going to do anything? And I was like, he said, I need to see how aggressive you are, because this is quite an aggressive, I'm like, this is mental. And then the other one in Ellis Fairbank, the guy got me to stand up, look out the window, go, see the cars down there? I went, yeah. He said, that's my Porsche, you can have one of those. I was like, all right, nice one. I was like, what on earth am I walking into here? I had no idea what was going on. And this other woman said, can you make 200 phone calls in 2 hours? And I was like, I don't know. I just graduated. I have no idea. Absolutely no clue.
Well, I can tap quickly.
Yeah, I was like random. So that they didn't come off because I thought, this is weird. And then anyway, the last one, got the job at Crossley House, 4 people, 5 people at the time. It was in a stately home in the middle of Halifax, which in itself is strange, because if you've been to the centre of Halifax, there's not many stately homes.
Also, when you get those offices like that, it's bitty, you don't really get that buzz.
It's weird. There was no buzz at all. There was in an office with my boss that later became my business partner, and that was it.
And you get a lot of that in those houses as well.
Yeah, you get loads of that. Yeah. but it had a swimming pool, and it had a full-size snooker table, and it had a dartboard. But there's nowhere else to go for lunch, so you could play snooker on a full-size snooker table, play darts at lunch, or go for a swim.
Can you show me snooker again? That is not a good look.
I wasn't very good, but so it's just completely serendipity. There was no plan to it. I didn't think getting into recruitment. Recruitment wasn't a career of choice back in 1996 by any stretch of the imagination. And the sector and everything, it was, I needed money, I needed a job. And I remember the MD at the time, Rob, saying to me, it's up to you how much you earn, it's how hard you work, the effort you put in, you're a master of your own destiny. And that just resonated with me, to be master of my own destiny.
You can be a boss within the business. Exactly, you can run your own business.
And it just really it did something that was like, I like the thought of that. I like to be the person to blame. If it goes wrong, it's on me. If it goes well, it's on me. And that really resonated. And I thought, do you know what? What's the worst that can happen? And dived just straight in, completely naive, did not have a clue what on earth I was stepping into.
So the pair of you, right? So I know the pair. You're brilliant leaders. You're strategically, you're very smart. Tactically, you're smarter, and operationally, you run a really clean ship, right? So, and I think that's probably why you're good mates, because you actually got the very, very similar thought process. But when you went into the businesses that you went into, blind, what made you stay there? What do you think was it that made you successful?
I think I stayed because the people that were there at the time, I was very lucky. I was with people that. They were good fun, but they worked really hard. They had a really good work ethic, and it was quite tough actually, and I quite liked that. I remember one day I had an Austin Maestro, 500 quid. Mum and Dad bought it for me as a present for getting a job, and I crashed it, and it was grey and had a blue bumper because I had to get it from the scrapyard, and it had a sombrero on the back.
You couldn't afford a can of spray?
No, I couldn't. No, and but anyway, I was late. I was late one day.
Do more deals.
So I drove in every day. And I didn't have a mobile, so when I got in, I had to explain why. And the reason I was late was because I broke down because it had overheated. And literally, I remember going to my boss at the time, I explained to him, and he just said, I don't really care. Your job is to get here on time, not to make excuses. And from that day on, I was never late, ever, 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 ever again. And I sort of enjoyed that sort of tough love.
Can I make a point on that, right? Do you know why it's really important for people to adhere to the basics, timekeeping, and not being late? For me, it was always about showing me that one, that you'd listen to me and follow the rules, but two, if you can't do that, why am I going to give you a bit more responsibility, authority, or control of part of my business when you can't do a basic thing, which is, and if your idea is to dip below the line just to make sure that you're in there at 5 to 9, you're dead to me.
It's rude, isn't it?
5 to 7.
It's just rude.
It's not fair. But everyone else has to take calls or do your work.
Yeah, it's just rude. I just think it's...
And completely agree. And at the time, I remember thinking back, it's a bit harsh, it wasn't but it was my fault, and I should have been able to do that. And it was a really good grounding, and everyone celebrated each other's success, apart from one guy who used to hide CVs in his drawer and be the first in to get them off a fax machine.
Okay, let's go for it. Name him.
David Rawlins. He won't mind now. He retired a long time ago. But,
Gimpy.
Yeah. But also the backing that I got on the training and the encouragement, and also you sort of didn't know any different. And I was desperate to do well for my boss and my boss's boss, and I was desperate to do well to prove to myself that I hadn't made a mistake. So,
Are you driven by fear of failure or the joy of success?
Fear of failure, 100%.
And every leader will tell you, so every coach will tell you that's not the way to do it, because otherwise it brings a pressure on you that you don't want to make a mistake, so you don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's exactly the opposite. Yeah. I'm desperate to do more things, so I keep going at that pace. Yeah. But that's why I think we're all great mates. Yeah. The same thing.
I don't think I've ever met an entrepreneur who's not fear of failure. I think everyone is.
With the last one's getting paid. That's fucking fearful.
Yeah, exactly.
That's brilliant. Tell us about your journey, because you didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah, mine was the opposite.
Practice on anybody else's wage check.
No, I mean, I hated it. I mean, I told you I went from Excel, went into Michael Page, and it weren't their fault. I mean, they're a great company, great training and stuff, but I was just the worst employee. I was that employee that you hate having in your business, the one that just wasn't interested. And every other job I've been in the zone, but for Michael Page, I hated the job.
That's surprising that you didn't get turned off of the sector.
Well, I did. So I didn't leave Michael Page to set my own business up. I left Michael Page because I hated recruitment. I didn't want to do it. So I just wanted to get out of it. Sorry.
Okay, can we make Wayne sit on his hands? Otherwise,
I keep hitting the table. Yeah.
It's like. Okay, we'll do that every time he does it now. Perfect.
He does it again. He's getting one of them.
Okay, right.
Tapping on the table. That's because I've got a point to make, and tapping on the table, that's what it is.
It's either me or the table.
Tap on the table, that's the fingers are out.
Someone's getting it. So Michael Page could have potentially turned you off the sector.
Well, they did. Yeah, they absolutely did. And I hated the job, and I thought I let myself down, if I'm being honest. I was really enjoying my job at Excel.
Were you shitting yourself? What?
I just thought I thought I fucked it up. Yeah, I did. And I weren't engaged, didn't like the job, I didn't want to do the job. Did it for 5-6 months. It didn't help that my missus weren't enjoying her job. We weren't enjoying living in Manchester. And life just wasn't as good. And we just got married, and it was meant to be amazing. And when we were making a new home, and it just was a bit crap, and I just didn't enjoy it.
Like, mate.
I know. It's a bit. Anyway, so I kind of left that. So I left that, and the idea was I'd go back into the retail operations, and I went for a few interviews, met a few different companies, but they were all just a bit shit, and I think I lost my way a bit. And I was sat there thinking, well, in that case, I'm going to find my own thing. I'm going to do my own gig. And
is that entrepreneurial spirit anywhere within your family or anything?
Well, my dad had a building business. So my dad had a building business. So he was he was always self-employed, my dad. But I'm not sure it's the same. But do you know what I mean? But I'd always seen my parents graft. My mum was a grafter, my dad's a grafter. All my family are grafters.
Get up early, go out, make some money, bring it home.
Exactly. My dad works in the building game, so in the winter time you're not making much money, in the summertime you make loads of money. And but I'd always seen my parents graft, so I'd kind of had that instilled in me anyway. But going back to the story, I didn't know what to do, and I thought I was going to start importing teak furniture from Thailand. That was the plan.
Because if I were to see you walking down the street, you've got teak furniture.
I know.
You could have been Amazon.
I should have been Amazon. Yeah, if only. Yeah, Jeff Bezos from Rochdale, maybe. I don't know. But that was the plan, and anyway,
that'd be Jeffrey Bezos.
Jeffrey Bezos from Rochdale. So I quickly realised that was just too expensive and I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. It was too much risk. But then I started thinking about recruitment and thought, well, actually, even though I hated the job, I was all right at it. I was quite good with people. I was quite good at selling. I was quite good at engaging people. And let's be honest, right? The recruitment market is pretty easy. You send a CV and get paid for it. And I was just like, wow, I could probably do this better myself. And I literally thought I could be better than Michael Page, even though I'd only been there for 5 months. And that's a
Mickey P, watch me.
Exactly.
Bold statement.
And it's a massively bold statement, yeah. But I didn't know any different. I was still learning the job. I'd only done about 3 or 4 placements or something. I'm not sure. And then I just set my own business up. I just thought it was the right thing to do and did.
I'm going to ask you some specific questions just to nudge this along. Can I just say, brilliant journeys as well. What uni did you go to? Manchester.
Third one on the top for Bradford.
Oh, sorry, you did say that. Yeah. And you were at Lancaster, weren't you?
No, I went to Preston.
How did you really?
It's next to Lancaster,
Is it
though.
Pulley? Yeah. How on earth did you become the entrepreneurial residence for a university you didn't go to?
Well, if you pay them all the money.
There we go.
Now you know.
I see through you, biatch. Right, so you've started your businesses. We all know that the last thing the world needs is another fucking recruitment company. What did you try to do to acquire business and be different so that you did stand out or did that not even fathom to you at the time?
I probably didn't think of it in that way, to be honest with you, because we went about it in a slightly different way. When me and Glenn, my old business partner, left what was the Kellen Group and Quantica, Kellen was going a different direction. They didn't see value in, believe it or not, food and drink manufacturing as a sector. They were very IT
Engineering, mate.
food and drink manufacturing. They were IT focused, really, and
People working on biscuit machines.
exactly, and hospitality. And as we know, it's a bit easier in IT, so they were going after
Miles
that.
easier, miles
And so Glenn and I decided to leave, but we were quite lucky at the time. It's a bit like a law firm that takes a team. We'd got a number of people that wanted to come with us. So when we set up on day one with investment from our old MD, our very first MD, we turned up with a team of 6 or 7, pretty much, not from day one, but from very early days in the first 2 or 3 months. So we were under a lot of pressure because they were all paid their salaries they were on before. We were under a lot of pressure early doors
Get some cash
to
in.
get some cash in, because that we were burning a lot of cash very, very, very
course you are,
quickly.
yeah.
And so for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months, our board meetings from the investor were very much
P&L.
what's going on? Where's the money? Where's the money? And he even said, and I joke about it to this day, I started up the contract desk, having never done contract ever in 14 years, making it up as I went along, to be fair, until we got yourselves on board and we did it a bit better. But making up the margins. And I remember Rob saying, Ian, you need to stop doing contract. There's no money in it. Do perm. And I was like, no, there's definitely value in this. And years later, he was like, I'm so glad you ignored me. I was like, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Definitely glad we ignored you. So we had a lot of, we risked a lot of someone else's money and a bit of ours with a big team on the basis that we hoped that our connections and our longevity in what is quite a small market, actually quite a niche market, would pay dividends. But the one thing we constantly talked about was that we wanted everyone to have pride in the badge. Pride in the badge is what it was all about. Pride in the badge in terms of, wanting to work and fight and go the extra mile for the business. And if we had pride in the badge to do that, then everything else would look after itself.
I also think it was quite amazing when I started working with you guys, how much advertising you did or marketing that you did, showing the businesses that you were physically going into and working with. And you were proud of all of the logos on the wall.
Yeah.
You were proud of everyone that you were working with and for.
Absolutely.
And it looked like it was a true partnership, but you guys were visible and physically shaking hands. And right here, right now, that is the premium skill you could possibly have to survive any market condition, make friends.
100%. And we were quite lucky, really. And I always think the market, the food and drink market, is a finite size, and there's like 450,000 people that work in it in the UK, and a lot of those are blue collar workers, and we did white collar, but only a small portion of that. But what we did get is to work with some of the biggest brands in the world, really, and not just in the UK, but also go around the factories and see things being made, and I loved it, and it was, and everyone loved it. It's so much fun, and people remember, and people in our sector stay in the sector because it either grabs you and you stick, or you go and you go nah, and you leave.
So one of the things that I was absolutely gobsmacked about when we first started working together was that if someone's working in a factory on a biscuit machine, their salary could be 26 grand, 28 grand. On contract, you're making 500 quid a day because they're just invisible people. Do not say I'm wrong now, because every part of you wants to challenge me on that. But it's true, right?
It's.
Ish.
I mean, ish. As ever, there's a slight bit of exaggeration there, but yeah, no, there is some truth in that. There's the discrepancy between what a permanent person will get and what they get
I've never
paid.
seen a market like it.
Oh, it's crazy. But the market is, factories are in strange places, and they're not in city centres, and you can't go from one sector because you need a certain skill set, and part of the reason why people stay, whether you're an employee of the sector or recruiter, is because
a recruiter.
A recruiter, like a B3.
A recruiter.
but you get to know the market and the people in it, and it makes your life. I always used to say to people when they came in, and I'm sure it's the same for every sector actually, and it's probably not unique, but in the food industry, it's definitely, as soon as you know a certain number of people, your life becomes easier 6, 12, 18 months. Because those candidates never leave your sector.
We at CF we used to say, if you get 5 people who are like willing to cheat, lie and steal for you and tell about the vacancies, what's going on, you'll run 30 contractors.
Exactly.
Easy peasy. Right, Wayne, we've got to go down the same journey, right?
It's exactly the same as what Simo's just said. I mean, ours is very similar. So it's, I mean, my background is logistics. As I said, I started off in the logistics world. I've got an interest that I quite like it, and I think if you're a recruiter and interested in the sector you're recruiting in, it just makes it so much easier.
And getting in front of your customer.
Yeah, exactly.
And understanding how they work, right? Because
I think if you can talk shop with your customer, and I think so. In the early days of me setting up my business, the only people we ever used to hire ever was people from ex-industry. So I never hired anyone from recruitment, because in my head, I thought, well, I'm not from recruitment, so I can do this job. So I don't need someone from another recruitment business to come and do this job. So my understanding was, if I find people who can understand our customers and who we're talking to and the candidates and relate to that and have empathy, then we're going to have a better chance of being a success. So for the first 7, 8 years, we recruited, even still today, our best recruiters we've ever recruited have come from industry because they get the gig.
Okay, can I challenge you on that?
No. you can.
In which case, I think that's bullshit. Okay, right. But I'm not sure that people are used to. There's a certain demographic and people who can survive in a sales environment when they're put under pressure, that they have to be the best version of themselves and they have to put themselves under effort, and what they can't do is run away. Some people who work through, you're exceptional, right? So, but people who work in operations aren't used to that pressure, and also understanding that you need a lyric and a banter and a way to get through and break through some of those ice doors and ice queens. Salespeople, you can teach them about driving a truck.
No.
Logistics.
I think people.
Fight.
Look, if you're sold to and you know you're being sold to, you hate it.
I love it.
No, but people, the average guy in the street just don't like it. They don't like to be sold to. You just mentioned then, like, what is it? You want to make friends with people. So people don't really make friends with people really, really salesing in the face. But you've got more chance of making friends if that person you're dealing with is a recruiter, has got empathy, can help you, is interested in your business.
I'm a dog with a bone now.
You don't agree, do you?
No, 100%. And I'll tell you for why. What's the best thing about recruitment?
People. Dealing with people. That's, for me, it is, anyway.
The fact that you're master of your own destiny is in your hands.
Okay. I would have gone for cash money. Right? So basically, it's a meritocracy. You're good as you're good. You don't have to be dead man shoes. You can get your career moving faster and faster.
You can do that with more. You can do that with more stuff. More sectors and most industries the same.
And I also think that when I speak to a lot of people, they say the best thing about being a recruiter is doing the deal. That little bit of buzz, that little adrenaline run, just gives you something, and that little oomph.
Yeah.
I was out in Lululemon with Julianne. She was buying a new jacket, and while I'm sat there bored, and this is before the new amazing hairdo, I just said to the girl behind the reception, she's buying that jacket, what can I have for free? And she goes, well, what do you mean you want something for free? I went, can I have a yoga mat? And she goes, do you do yoga? I went, no. She goes, well, why do you want? I just want something and make this experience better for me. And in the end, she said, you can have a hair bob. And I said, can I have 5? And she goes, why do you need 5? I went, I know 5 put with hair. That's right, that's Christmas sorted. But in the end, but I got a deal in that shop. When Johnny Morse was picking up his Jeep, I ended up getting a £150 cap that has lights on the front of it whilst he's buying a car. And then at the end of it, he walked back in and said, has he got a hat? And I haven't got a hat, and I just bought a car.
I remember taking you to when I've got my wife's ring, remember?
I did.
Just to Hatton Gardens. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, Gary, we leave this poor lad alone.
Right. But I like doing the deal. So if you like doing the deal, then you become a deal maker. I'm not sure it's all about customer satisfaction, because
Isn't what you're talking about though is that's a contract mindset. Wayne's is more of a perm mindset, because there is a slight difference between a perm recruiter and a contract recruiter.
Well, it's like
Pardon?
Well, it's massive.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So a contract recruiter's, it's nimble, it's immediate, I need it now, it needs to happen yesterday, I don't need to do anything. Whereas a perm, unfortunately, the nature of the beast is a bit longer and it's a bit more, you have to be more patient. It's out of your control. And so there is a different type of person for contract than there is for perm, because contract, you've got to be super, super, super impatient.
Yeah, I quite like it. We used to say tongue in cheek, but back in the days when I was running the CF brand, if your clients and candidates are both happy with you, you've not made your right margin. Right. And I still kind of believe that today. You want to be squeezing everything, but then you demonstrate, value adds and all sorts of things on top of it, but don't measure apples with apples. Try and change what you do. Anyway, right, we're never going to agree on this. Hi everyone, and a massive shout out to our main sponsor for season 4, the recruitment special of Pints of View. Now, Force 24 are exceptional. They do something that nobody else does, which is always pretty cool. If you're looking at sending out outbound email campaigns, multimedia messaging, including video and infographics, nobody else can do this. Everybody else sends out flat words. So your likes of Sourcewell and Elay can't do this. Force 24 do something special. Well, I use them, the RDLC uses them, and anybody who's taking their marketing really seriously will be using them. It's very clever. It's just a game changer. I like it. You should. By the way, I'm really enjoying this. And it's one of those sort of really random ones where we're talking about shit, but I just think we're genuinely having a row. But nobody in the outside world would know it, but it's quite funny. Right, you guys, I am going to beat you up on this. You keep saying tech's easy. Why didn't you do it?
Do you want me to go?
You go first.
As a Man United fan.
I'm not a Man United fan, let me be really clear about that.
Well, never say never for a start, so we might. But I haven't stay in your lane, I guess. It's we're known for doing procurement and supply chain and logistics. That's our sector. That's what we do. We don't do tech, Granted, if I went back right to the start in 2005, I probably should have done tech because it's obviously easier and I would have made a lot more money and been a lot more success.
We could have had a boat off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I like a challenge. I thought I'd stick with logistics.
What about yourself? Because it's sat there right in front of you.
No. Well, to be honest, it's tongue in cheek really for me, because if I'd have done tech or IT back in '96 for 20 odd years, then I'd have.
You wouldn't be neighbours.
Yeah, I'd be living in Audley Edge, not Bramall. but so it's tongue in cheek, really. And the tech, it's not easy in tech, and some of it is. I could have done that, but it's a bit of fun. And
who would have thought tech would have took off anyway?
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
The Y2K. I remember working in an office with people talking about Y2K and getting contractors in. And I was like, "What's that all about?" And they were just like talking about 10s and 20 contractors.
It'll never take off.
Can I tell you this thing, bro? So Y2K, New Year's Eve. All of my family were out in the cottage, and I spent 700 quid on one firework because it was supposed to go up and go 2,000. Right, and went up and went twat. I shit you not. It's like
money well spent.
It's like you might as well have got the work. It's unbelievable. So I still think that there's a tech market there, but I do love the idea that every business leader should be trying, in my humble, should try to create one new revenue stream at least every year. So when Simon Arber talks about divide and conquer, all those the lunch we had at Hush, divide and conquer, one new profit center. But if you've got 6 businesses, that's an extra 6.
Yeah.
And each business can cope with one new profit center, not cost center, profit center.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you do a tech one if you can find the right person for it? I mean, it's not easy, but But if you do it right, and the lessons that you're learning,
and you would, 100%. I mean, if you look back, and there was times actually, because I worked in an office with at Quantica. There was Quantica Technology, and we had the search and selection. We're in the same office, and so those guys would, some of them have done brilliantly well and set up and sold. And one of the guys that initially went into the PLC has gone again and sold again. Bridge Group. So 100% given the opportunity and looking back, you look back and go, oh, it's a shame, but no regrets on it. And it's just for me, it's a bit of banter, really. And
to be fair,
but it's a bit boring, though, isn't it? It's a bit.
You're
boring.
12 years old, mate. You can go again. You wrap yourself in cling film and sleep in a fridge, right? There's no reason why it's all too late. And actually keeping yourself active, because I took 10 years off and it nearly killed me.
Yeah.
But actually keeping yourself and your brain active. I always like to have different revenue streams now, or different things going on, because I think it makes me a better person with the day job.
Yeah.
So having things
100%.
going on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the day job. So the lessons.
Wayne.
The lessons.
Simo's day job is going to the gym and just
Simo has-
walking around Bramall having lunch.
You should be fitter.
Yeah.
But as someone who sold their business, congratulations as well, by the way, mate, because we do take the piss out of you, but that's not many people sell and exit successfully, and power to your elbow, my ski buddy.
Thank you.
When you think about the business and that learning curve of becoming a proper boss, I don't think anyone's really prepared for it. When you are now, you're responsible for your house, your mortgage, your wife, your kids, holidays, everybody else's mortgage, house, kids, families, pension. It can be quite oppressive, and it can make people go a little bit squiffy and not be the best version of them. How did you find that journey, and what advice might you give to somebody who's thinking of doing it? One, don't do it in logistics, because these guys can smash your face in.
Logistics and
do it in
supplies,
text.
stay away.
Do it in text as a piece of bits. But
easier.
what advice would you give, and what were the biggest lessons that you had through that period?
I don't know, really. I mean, I never really overthought it. I didn't really sit there, and I still don't. I don't sit there and worry about.
Shut up. So that's Wayne Brophy, right?
Yeah.
Look, overthinking, plan a lot.
I like to plan. You know, I'm failing to prepare, parents fail, and all the rest of it. But I won't sit there be stressing about things that have not happened, because they have not happened, have they? Right. So I just think you just got to get on with it, right? And sorry, go on.
I think I think you've got to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Live in the moment.
I think I didn't enjoy initially the ride and the highs and the successes enough. And it's a very brave person to set up on their own, because, you're taking a lot of risk, and it is a risk.
I didn't, yeah.
But you've got to enjoy it, because why do it if you're not going to enjoy it? You've got to enjoy the difficult bits. You've got to enjoy the fun bits.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to go for it, and you've got to make a distinction quite early on. If you want a lifestyle business, that's a couple of years and it's lifestyle. And do you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, and you can have a fantastic.
But you get bored of it real fast.
Unless that's the type of person you are, because some people just want to do that. Whereas if you know you're going to grow, you've got to be interested in the people. You've got to want the people to do well. You've got to enjoy their success and enjoy the ride and go through. But also you can't, and it's not about this like all black thing, no dickheads. It's like that. That's too blasé. It's about, you can't let people denigrate your brand or bring the average down. It should be about bringing the average up every time you hire someone, and that is
equal great what you've already got.
Yeah, exactly.
Every hire somebody.
Yeah.
Do you remember that phrase that somebody actually said to me? I know I'm doing shit, but I'm not doing as bad as him.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was the worst thing that anyone that ever said to me in business. So that's my weakest link. So I went over, sacked him both.
Well, it's the Jack Welch thing from back in the day when he's every year he's bottom 20%.
You'll be Jack Welch,
about 20%. Yeah, but if you always looking at your bottom 20%, that is, your business is going forward every single year, and that's what he used to do.
But that's not uncommon, right? So Goldmans do that. I mean, loads of businesses do that. It's very commonplace. And when we get these stories about Microsoft just sacking off loads of people, well, you know which ones are going.
Yeah. You don't sack your top performers, do you?
No, why would you do that?
Yeah,
unless it's dick.
So going back to, I tell what's interesting actually, because I don't think when I was running my business, so in the early days, that I seen it as a business as such. It was a place that I worked that paid my bills. So I didn't see it as a saleable asset with any sort of wealth creation. And probably a plug for the RDLC here, but it wasn't until I joined the RDLC that I understood that actually it's a proper asset. It's something that you can build, grow. It's a wealth creation. You can sell it. I just think, who the hell would want to buy my business? And bear in mind, I'd
put new floors in your house. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do.
But I think with that as well, and I remember I don't know when it was, but
It's our secret, guy. Don't tell people that.
Never tell me anything.
HMRC will be.
cleaners, etc.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about something else.
But I remember being told the business isn't you and you aren't the business, and that's why I thought actually so I can actually sell that because that isn't me. The business is the business, and I'm me, and that was a distinction I realised because I thought at first the same, that it was a way of paying my bills and being an employee. So actually the business is the business and has a value, and I want to build the value of that, and I just happen to own it.
It took me a long time to figure that out, though. I'd say about probably 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's 19 years in April I've had a business. And I think it took me a long time to kind of figure it out because it was just a place where I went to work and I was the boss. But bear in mind, from literally graduating, I've always been the boss. I've never not been the boss. So it's just normal for me.
So I think it's funny because the pair of you put a prop, still do put a prop shit. Still do. But,
I do, yeah.
I changed my gaze. Still put a proper shift in, and I think some people get to where they're happy and comfortable, and they forget that everybody else is hanging down the back of that mountain.
Yeah.
And if you're not pulling them up as well, then you've got no asset. So you have to, even though you're happy,
keep going. Yeah, absolutely,
you have to keep going. And if you're not the person to lead that charge, pass the baton on, pass the rope on to somebody else who's going to pull them up the mountain.
I totally agree. I think
you've got a responsibility to people in your business to improve and develop them and help them reach their career goals. You've got a huge responsibility to them to do that. And it's
what do you think is most different about the recruitment world today? I prefer to call it staffing. I hate the R word.
Probably
I
tech.
like the recruitment word. I've got no problem with the recruitment word. I'm quite proud of working in recruitment.
It's bums on seats. I think we should be talent solutions providers, not bums on seats anymore. So instead in fives and tens.
Do you know what?
Tomato.
Okay, you don't care.
Do you know what was interesting? I wasn't proud to say I was a recruiter for years. I didn't think it was a great job. I mean, I absolutely love it now. It's the best thing in the world, and I would advise anyone to get involved in it. It's such a fantastic sector, brilliant industry. But when I first started, maybe because of me with a chip on my shoulder, I felt I started my business because I didn't know what else to do. And I did that for a few, and I enjoyed it, and I loved working. It was good, and it was exciting to grow a company. I've never done it before. But I'd always a bit like, I'm a recruiter, sorry, and I'm apologising for it. Whereas now, I look back at it, and I'm ashamed of myself saying it. But I absolutely love it. I think it's the best industry in the world.
That's
brilliant.
the most honest thing in the world you've said. I will say, I think you're better balanced now. You've got chips on both shoulders, and both have gravy on them, or curry sauce. So that goes really well. How is the world different today than it was, just a couple of years ago? Because it's shifting. The dynamics, the marketplace is just going, squiffy all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's recruitment is recruitment, right? So in my market, it's still a vacancy-led market. We've got to find good vacancies. So
saying no is important.
Saying no is absolutely important. Yeah, in my business today, 70% of it is retained. So we've got to find good clients that want to work with our business, which is hard in its own right. But it's 1,000,001 tools to do it. There's 1,000,001 ways to skin a cat. But ultimately, it's down to relationships and what you said earlier on, making friends. So I don't think it's changed that much. I just think it's Emperor's new cause.
I think your business is absolutely brilliant because your marketing brand is probably second to none. Absolutely. I wasn't praising you. I was praising Kerry. But
you're probably right as well.
It's unbelievably sick. It's really, really cool. Sorry, Ian, I cut you off.
No, all I was going to say is I think what's happened in the last couple of years and is continuing to happen is there's a lot of tech. There's a lot more suppliers into recruitment than there's ever been. There's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there as well trying to get into recruitment because they see it as an easy win. And I think part of the skill is being able to see through that and not magpieing from one thing to the next, and keeping an eye on the fact that when I started in 96 on 12 grand a year with a target of 120k, not much has changed. But what has changed...
You earn more than 12 grand a year now.
No, actually, he doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. Not much has changed.
Exactly.
You ain't got a job.
But what's happening? The cost profile has gone up massively, and I think that's the thing that as a recruitment owner you've got to keep an eye on, because you see businesses all the time. It looks shiny and new, and it's burning. But I think it's making life easier, and it's a quick route to cash. And it's not a quick route to cash. It's just efficiency.
Well, so I'm fortunate to have people like you within the Pirates. Some might call you tight, but I just think I just think you know your way around the calculator. So the way to measure a decent CEO, I think, is know your true cost per desk, include every cost, including what you take out as a regular draw, and then you look at net fee income per recruiter.
Completely.
And the bigger the gap, that's how good you are as a CEO.
Completely.
And there's no other measure.
100%.
That's the gig. If you're making money, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
And if one of those changes, then you need to make a change.
Yeah.
So you don't keep doing it.
Completely agree.
Don't do what I did. The second recession I saw, I thought I'd earn my way out of it, and everyone was sacking people, and I hired 30. Fucking idiot. Yes, that wasn't my greatest day. Big shout out to RDLC, although I'm a big part of it. The RDLC have, in their infinite wisdom, decided to sponsor yet another season, the recruitment special of Pints Of View. You must have been living under a rock if you run a recruitment business and are not part of the RDLC. It is the game changer, and it is the best network for people who are aspirational and trying to achieve something very clever. A network, a community, hookups, meetups, the best deals on all of the tech that you actually need. We go kicking the tires so you don't need to. It gives you an opportunity to ratify your decisions, be part of something that's bigger than you, and there's no need to be lonely at the top of a business. Now you've got 300, we are Sparta, against the rest of the world. So it's us against everybody else. It kind of works that way. We've kept out all of the idiots from recruitment, apart from me, but they need me to make it work. Thank you, RDLC. Hopefully see you soon. Okay, right. There's a couple of last minute questions I want you to ask.
Yeah.
Columbo style.
Yeah. Just one other thing. I saw that became Godfather, didn't it? Kiss my ring. Why didn't you guys focus on the international markets as they started to boom? Why you kind of stick to the knitting, and things were moving and shifting and changing, but as two old timers in the game, why didn't you shift towards that? I know you're doing USA now.
Yeah, we're doing it. I think we are. I mean, it's logistics. It's not tech. So tech's always 5.
Well, they
7.
didn't have lorries in America.
No, but there's not many UK recruiters doing logistics and supply chain now in the US.
Okay.
I think we're one of the first movers, if I'm being honest, and we're doing it for 2 years. So I do think we've ahead of the curve on that.
Okay, and why didn't? Because apparently in America they eat a lot.
Yeah, no, they do, but it's a very different. It's a very different marketplace to the UK, and the regulations are different. The countries are different size. They don't have supermarkets as such. They have a Walmart. They don't have the same supply chain in terms of being able to get from the factory to your home in the short time frame. And so, is the market there? Yes, it is. And if I'd have started it at the same time, it was worth it. But we didn't. I always felt we had more to get from the contract market in the UK, and I wanted to get more from the I thought it was easier to make more money in the UK than it would have been in necessity. Rightly or wrongly, that was the thoughts.
It's a good point, that, actually, right? And going back to lessons learned and things I would have done differently, is I'm overly cautious, and I think if I had my time again, there's probably not much I would change apart from just being a bit more a bit more a bit more aggressive, and take a bit more risks and just go for it. We've always been, you love this, but consistently consistent, right? So, our business is brilliant, right? It's consistently consistent. We do well. But if I would have pushed it a little bit earlier, we would have been a lot farther.
Yeah, I did still consistently consistent from you. So I will give you the public recognition because I've been using that, but everyone thinks it's me now. So, if you didn't listen to this podcast, fucks, still me. The one thing I would say is that you guys just focused on the easiest route to money, which is a philosophy that we did at S3 all the time. So what's the easiest route to money? You don't need to go and prove a point to anyone.
Yeah.
However, I do think that was riddled with fucking excuses and bullshit. So,
and you're absolutely right.
There we go. Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Consistently, yeah. That's absolutely brilliant. Right then, the only reason I can talk to you like this is because we are proper best mates. I want to play some games, if I may. Is that all right?
I'm not spoof again.
Yeah, you want...
Is that the dice?
Yeah, all right. Alphabet soup. Right. What's the chances of getting an M?
I don't want an M.
Alphabet soup. Okay, right. Can you reach?
Oh, so close! Well done.
The chances. Actually, I knew what I was going to ask you and totally forgotten.
Brilliant. Ask Wayne then.
Manchester.
Yep.
Took some like M to Manchester. I mean, that must take a while.
Okay, we're doing enough.
Greatest football team.
You're going to get... Well, it's just not, is it? Well, City, yeah, you're right.
United,
Birmingham.
So Manchester's a really interesting place to own a recruitment business because everyone drinks in the same pubs, everyone knows the same people.
Everyone's part of Wayne's network.
Everyone's part of... Are we talking about Bain? Literally.
Don't get us started on this already, bloody hell.
For anyone knows, I run the IDLC, which is by far the best recruitment network out there. Wayne has a splinter group in the north.
The BDLC.
Yeah, which is...
BDLC.
Now you're promoting it. Brilliant. Okay, we'll edit that. So Bain runs a decent network in Manchester. I think, without doubt, the hardest place in the world to recruit recruiters because
that's why we recruit people from industry, from logistics and supply chain.
And also, I do think it's a really random place. It's really hard to manage people because it's easier for them to move jobs, just go by calling a rec to rec and getting a job.
Yeah. And
they can job hop for about 2 years because most businesses don't really can give a shit, whereas we do.
Yeah.
You know, we have no lists and stuff, and if anyone's had more than 3 jobs in 2 years, dead to us. Wouldn't touch them.
Yeah.
But it's easier for them to do that than actually hit a target to be worth the money. And we talk about 5 times. So if somebody wants 50 grand, but if you're not earning me 250 grand, you're, and again, dead to me. Is it as hard as it ever was in Manchester to build out a recruitment business, given that most people also become city-centric and they just don't put their head up. They don't become your Eric Cantona looking... I did that for you, by the way. Put their head up and actually look to spray the ball and just actually look where the easiest place is to make money.
Yeah, it is. I mean, finding talent for your business is by far and away the hardest thing. You know, we're a professional services business, aren't we? So the only asset we have is people. So we live and die by the caliber of people you bring in. And like we said before, you know, it's... Whenever we're recruiting, it's equal or greater than what you've already got. If you're doing less than that, you're going backwards, aren't you? So you've got to maintain, you know, the caliber of people coming into your company. And Manchester's a fucking nightmare to recruit. Let's be honest. It just is. Everyone's beg, borrowing, stealing off each other, nicking staff left, right, and centre. It's like the Wild West, and everyone's trying to be slightly clever and do something different. And I come back to it. That's one of the reasons why I personally, we don't recruit recruiters. Or very, very, very rare we recruit a recruiter. We either take second jobbers or take people from industry to come in.
Well, also, if you think about it, the people with experience, you might have a 3 or 4 year experienced recruiter.
Yeah.
Those skills aren't fit for purpose in today's marketplace.
No. And
you're paying a premium for the privilege.
Yeah, exactly. And as I've already said it, like most recruitment businesses are candidate driven. But my business isn't. Is client driven. We have to be able to sell. We have to be able to.
I always tease you about this. So, how many live leads you got on today? Right. Okay. So,
edit that.
Okay.
I'll just check.
But I don't think any recruitment business should have any live leads. It's either a vacancy or not a vacancy at the end.
Yeah.
But you have to action it that quickly, and people just haven't got this. They've got this mentality. I'm doing this. I'm going to focus on this, and not do that.
And people would rather tap on the PC and send an email, or rather than pick up the phone, and it's so annoying. I mean, one of the biggest challenges, obviously, the way people are. You know, not to talk about.
You don't like people.
Some people don't like, but the younger generation today, I mean, they'd rather send a text or an email than pick up the phone and speak to somebody, and I find that really annoying.
Right, because it's you two, we're going to have some fun.
Cool.
That's what I need to talk to you about one thing. How was the exit journey, bruv? What lessons did you learn going through the pain, torture, joy?
Don't do it mid-month when you come to completion. That's a mistake. Wait till the end of the month when all your invoices are in. Make sure you get advice early on in the journey because it can cost you at the end. Get a good lawyer that you trust, actually. I think is really important.
Yeah.
And be really clear on what you're looking to get from it, and understand your own motivations. They're personal to you, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If you're happy with what you want to do from that, that's the most important thing, because everyone has their own motivations, their own family, their own personal stuff going on, their own financial things. And I think the bit that when I realised that, it made my life a lot easier, because it was about me and not what everyone else thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important.
Well, at the time, I thought you were mental. And then we had a chat, and I thought it was the best decision in the world for you. And it's just, people don't know, because if you're not completely open about it, and why would you be about all your personal situations and what's going on? Right?
Exactly. And so
I get it.
And this is why you've got to do it what's right for you at that time, and that is very different for everyone.
Yeah.
And also, I think in recruitment, there's a lot of sort of people that it's ego driven, it's about them, and that's never been me really. And it's like, if it works for you, then I would congratulate anybody.
No, I totally agree. Look, it's all about my ego. so let's
Exactly, yeah.
let's not lie about this. Right. I am going to do emergency questions, if I may.
Maybe not.
We are without an emergency question jingle. Mixed up with the other stuff they didn't ask for the Batman stuff.
I feel like you've let me down.
I can give you one of these.
That sounds like an emergency, to be honest.
Let's just go with it.
Really? It just sounds like I'm wrong.
Perfect.
Do you know that reminds people? Do you know that reminds me of Family Fortunes?
Yeah.
Well, where was
100 people were asked.
yeah,
100
people
people
were
were
asked,
surveyed.
Is Gary a
Yeah.
tosser?
No, not yet. That's it.
where was the strangest place you've ever had sex? And she went, up the arse. I still think it's the best question ever. Right, here we go. Right, emergency question. Alternate. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Ah.
How many previous jobs did you have in your way to greatness?
None.
You didn't, did you? It's one job.
Post grad job. I mean, I was a paper boy. I worked in a call centre.
Oh, okay. It all comes out now, doesn't it? Here we go. 15 job hopper.
And I was a labourer, but what? No,
A labourer. One brick at a time.
Yeah. But I was a roofer once. I hated heights. It didn't go well, and that's true.
Brilliant. Right. Wayne Brophy. Serious question.
Go on.
What is your superpower? Not what it would be. What is it? So mine's probably my energy, wit, charm, love, funniness.
I think I'm good with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. Tosser. You're right. You're right what you said about it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
In what way? Just you get them, you read them.
I'm just good with people. I mean, I think I'm likable. I think most people gravitate towards me.
All right, Simo.
I know a tosser when I see one.
Simo, what is your nickname apart from Simo? What would your football chums? Oh, we should talk about the fact that you are pound for pound, inch for inch, the best goalkeeper on the planet, given your stature.
Correct. Ever.
There we go.
Can I just add that?
Did you chip him?
I did chip him in a five-a-side net.
No,
in a
that
five-a-side
is
net.
100%
No, it's
not
not. It's
true.
100%,
Okay.
it's 100% true.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
It's true.
What was your nickname to your mates at the football pitch?
Well, there was Simo, Simpy, Papa Smurf,
Stumpy.
Simpy,
Simpy.
Papa Smurf was another one. I mean, all great nicknames. I mean,
Not really. Right. What's your favourite film?
Godfather. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Really?
On number one, though. Godfather 2 and 3 are a bit
Oh,
crap.
shit. What was the name of?
And Dumb and Dumber. Love that film. Oh, and Weird Science.
What is
Sorry,
What is- sorry.
Serious? Come on, ahead.
How many?
Hang on.
favourites
No,
do you
it's different. Weird Science. Love it. Kelly LeBrock. Oh, my God. Amazing.
Are you allowed? Is that the one?
That's the one, yeah.
Okay.
But Dumb and Dumber and Godfather.
Okay. So, Kerry, I'm sorry about that, but I know her. Favourite holiday destination?
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Brilliant. And how often have we been to Ibiza together?
Lots of times.
About 4 or 5 times a year.
Lots of times, and Kerry was being sick off the back of the boat. Right, what mantra? It's a question to you both. What mantra do you live by?
So I'll think about this coming down here actually on the train today. So
If it required work, I ain't doing it. For that one.
So what I'm saying a lot at the moment is the wolf climbing the hill is always hungrier than the wolf at the top of the hill. You don't like that, do
Do
you?
wolves climb hills? I mean,
Yeah.
is that a known
It's,
thing?
it's catchy, isn't it?
It's,
catchy.
it's a known thing.
Can you
It's-
Google that? Because I don't think wolves, because I think they
Catchy.
live on the plains,
The
don't
wolf
they?
climbing the hill is always hungrier than the wolf at the top of the hill.
On top of a
On
hill.
top of the hill. Oh, fuck.
Okay, right.
Oh, same question. My work mantra was when you walk through the door, put a smile on your face and turn your brain on.
Okay.
Sorry, just news in from Google. Wolves do climb hills, but they cannot climb trees. So you're welcome. Carry on.
I told you.
It's fucking random. Best person you ever worked with or for? Both of you.
Matthew Barnes. And he was...
Barnesy?
Barnes? Do you know him well?
No.
So Matthew Barnes was the operations director at Aldi, and he's now the chief executive for Tesco.
You sure it's not Aldi?
Aldi. Matthew Barnes from Aldi.
Mine was my business partner, Glenn, who recruited me in '96.
I met and worked with Glenn. He was lovely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Biggest fear?
Heights.
I'll leave you alone. What gets your goat?
Tardiness.
Oh, just people not turning up, or just being a bit late, or just being a bit shit.
Yeah. And effort. People not putting effort in. That really, really, really winds me up. Watching my son play football and he don't put effort in. I just want to kill him. I literally want to kill him.
Okay, if we take out literally, we can get away with that. But otherwise, we might get closed down. So, Simo, what would you change about you, Shorty?
Height.
There we go. I mean, Fatty, what would we change about you, Wayne?
Not being a Peter Kay lookalike.
Most interesting life fact?
Ooh. I've got a birthmark on my arse.
No, it's not. I don't know why you...
Not sure.
I don't know why you...
Oversharing, I think. That's what comes to that.
I was talking about like the depth of the North Sea or something.
right.
I didn't. Shuz pick.
I can't follow that.
Do you want to see it? I want to see beers.
Do you want to see it? No, let me leave that. Favourite band?
Oh. Wet, wet, wet.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a Mighty Pillow fan. I've got to say, it's a
Great
it was
band.
in. Right. It's you're 18. It's Friday night. What would you be doing?
I've been going to Xanadu's in Rochdale.
I just think you two have had a really sad existence.
What would you be doing
Don't
at
blame me.
18?
I wasn't in
I'll be
Rochdale. I was in
best
Bradford.
best disco in town in the Strand.
You've not been to Xanadu's in Rochdale, have you?
Well, funny enough, you know, yeah, I'm going to go with a strong no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm living. I'm not going to even ask that because what you do to keep fit? Well, you need to do more of it.
Box the box, Gary.
Okay,
Box the box.
box the box. One guilty pleasure.
Taylor Swift.
Is she on your list? Oh, we do have to tell. Do we have to tell Karen?
She already knows.
And last one, I'm going to give it to you, Wayno. One book to read that you think will make a difference to people's lives.
So I really like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
I think I need to read it again.
There it is.
The Anglo-Zanzibar factoids. Here we go. Right. The Anglo. So I'm taking over. So Steve Wright's dead. So I'm taking it.
So it's not even cold. It's not even cold.
No, leave it alone. Literally, I'm a fast move. No, by the time this comes out, I'm already a TV sensation. So fucking. The Anglo-Zanzibar War in 1896 holds the record for the world's shortest war, lasting only 38 minutes. Okay, that was the answer.
What was the question?
Okay,
I reckon it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Is the chase?
That is just what factoid is, though. It's just fact.
Yeah.
Antarctica.
This is how you tell 'em.
Antarctica.
John Newman McDonald's fact.
Oh, should we talk about McDonald's? Okay, well, let's finish on that because this is funny. Because
My dog getting started on McDonald's.
Okay, right. No, we've got to do
It's
this
so
because we
boring.
have had this row for 5 years, 6 years.
Oh, God, too long. It's not a row. I'm
No,
right.
okay, no. Just go on. We're going to ask the expert. So James, we're going to invite you into this conversation, right?
Fantastic.
Okay, right. So I think that McDonald's is by far the highest quality restaurant chain on the planet, better than places like the Gavros or Gaucho or Gaucho.
Look, Gav Washing, Michelle Wu Jr. will be gutted. He's put in the same place as
I've absolutely,
Gaucho.
I fucked that right up there. Or Landau. So it's amazing because wherever you go in the world, you know to the penny or the cent, pretty much to the minute, what your Big Mac will taste like, the quality of it, and they manage to keep that quality across hundreds of thousands of restaurants everywhere on the planet.
Okay.
That for me is the definition of absolute exquisite quality. He will now say something random.
Okay.
So that's complete bollocks.
Yeah, because how the franchises.
Well, each McDonald's country is a completely different menu that's made differently for the palates of that particular country. So the products in each country taste different. They have a different flavour profile. They have different products.
God, switching
so they
off.
are not the same. So the thought that they are the same wherever you go, as I say, is complete bollocks.
Brilliant.
So
Okay,
it's rubbish.
Okay, so that's just bullshit, isn't it? So you had a McDonald's in New York.
No. I did have one in Miami. I had a McFeta burger in Greece. I'm well travelled and well
McFeta?
cultured.
McFeta burger.
Whatever it was. It was like
I
falafel
rest
thing.
my case.
Okay, but you could have got a Big Mac, right?
I could have got a Big Mac, and
Okay.
if one's got to be right and one's got to be wrong, I might as well side with the person who pays my bills. Gary, you're correct.
There we go. Right. Okay. We're going to do just one other thing because I love you guys. Can we go back in time, please?
Oh yeah.
Great jingle.
Yeah, we've not thrown any money at this, have we? Could stay at that. You're 18 years old again. I'm going to put up. You can whisper in your own ear and give you a little bit of advice for the future of you. So, I would like to know, Ian, what you would have said to yourself. Would it have been, don't go on that fucking dodgy TV program because it's done your physical profile no good? or go to Gary's hair transplant people because they work better. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self, brother?
To go for it earlier, to not be worried about setting up much earlier than 14 years working for someone. I really wish I had people telling me on ski lifts. In fact, Angus once said to me, "Why don't you go alone?" When I was about 27, and I wish I'd have. In me, I'd go for it early, do it earlier, do it when you've got less responsibilities, nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I would encourage anyone that is questioning it at any point, don't question it, just do it.
Do it when you can afford it, and if it fucks up,
yeah, exactly. But also do it as soon as you think about it.
Brilliant, Wayne.
Very similar to that, really. Just
You couldn't have gone. You didn't have an experience. You couldn't have gone earlier.
well, I mean, I would just say just to take more risks. Be a bit more punchy with it, and also probably get better people in straight away and get advisors in, and get some help and support around you. I think my business would have been significantly further ahead than what it is today if I would have done that earlier.
So if people can't afford to join your network, it's probably worth joining the IDLC.
Well, we've always got a deal in a big DLC. You know what I mean?
There we go. I love you dearly. You know that.
Thank you, Gary.
So
Thank you for today.
Can I give you the famous last word? So is there anything you'd like to say, do, ask, play to truths and lie? What would you like to do just to close this off? You did no fucking prep.
I was going to pass that over to Simon.
No, famous last words. I don't really know what to say, really. Firstly, thanks for the invite. Secondly, how's the eye?
It's better in it.
Yeah, it
But
is a lot better.
I've actually got a little blind spot in it. I've really hurt it. I mean, properly hurt it. But it looked good, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it was
If you're going to
impressive,
get a
yeah.
bruiser, you might as well get a big one. That wasn't good.
You know.
Well, just thanks for today. I've enjoyed it. It's been good fun. it's kind of like chatting to my mates in a pub, isn't it, really?
Well, it's almost like the premise of the whole fucking program.
I can see why it worked.
So can I just finish by saying, good luck in Celebrity Big Brother. If you don't win, then I'll be disappointed because we will be betting on you heavily from the beginning.
Yeah.
So no pressure.
We've gone big. We've gone big.
Well, by the time this comes out, we'll know how bad it went. Gary Goldsmith, you're live on ITV. Please do not fucking swear. Jamesy, thank you. You two, love. We'll have a drink after this.
Thank you very much.
Jamesy, thank you very much. That was one of my absolute favourites of all time. It's been really good. Peace and love. And if you don't see me on a podcast soon, you know I'm doing really well. Thanks. Come on, Hollywood.